They laughed at me the first time I walked into that courtroom. Not out loud, not openly, but the kind of laugh you feel more than hear the quick looks, the curled lips, the silent agreement that says this woman doesn't belong here. I remember gripping the strap of my worn-out bag, feeling my pulse in my ears, thinking, okay, this is it. This is the moment where people decide who you are before you ever open your mouth. And yeah, I almost turned around. Almost, but I didn't. And that choice, that one stubborn step forward, ended up changing everything. Let me rewind a bit because none of this makes sense without where I came from. My name isn't important anymore. Not the old one, at least, and the town I grew up in is one of those places people drive past without noticing. I was raised by a single mom who worked 2 jobs and still somehow managed to come home smiling, like exhaustion was just another thing to fold away at the end of the day. We didn't have much, but we had this unspoken rule in our house. You don't let people tell you what you're worth. Funny thing is, the world spends a lot of time trying anyway. School was rough. Not dramatic movie rough, just constant quiet pressure. Teachers who assumed I wasn't trying. Kids who joked about my clothes. Counselors who suggested practical paths instead of ambitious ones. I learned early how to shrink myself, how to nod and say, okay, even when every part of me was screaming no. But there was this one thing I couldn't let go of, this stubborn belief that I was capable of more, even if I couldn't prove it yet. You know what I mean? That feeling where you don't have evidence, just instinct. Years later, that instinct led me somewhere people didn't expect me to be. A case no one thought I could handle. An opponent who looked at me like I was a mistake in the room. He was polished, confident, backed by money and reputation. I still remember the first time he spoke to me directly. He leaned back in his chair, smiled like he was doing me a favor, and said, "No offense, but are you sure you're qualified for this?" The room went quiet. Everyone waited for my reaction. I smiled back and said, "We're about to find out." Yeah, that happened. The early days were brutal. Long nights, empty coffee cups, reading until my eyes burned. There were moments I questioned everything. Who did I think I was going up against? People who'd been winning their whole lives. There's a special kind of fear that comes from being underestimated because part of you worries they might be right. But there's also fuel in it, this raw, quiet determination that builds every time someone doubts you. I stopped trying to impress anyone. I focused on the work, on the details, on the truth. The first real confrontation came faster than I expected. He objected to almost everything I said, his tone dripping with impatience like I was wasting his time. At one point he actually laughed, shook his head and said, "This is amateur hour." I felt my face heat up, my hands tighten. I could hear my mother's voice in my head, calm and steady. Don't let them rush you. Don't let them define the pace. So I slowed down. I repeated myself. Clearly. Calmly. The judge noticed. The room shifted just a little. That's the thing people don't talk about. Turning points aren't always loud. Sometimes it's just a pause, a raised eyebrow, a subtle change in energy. From that moment on, I could tell he was paying attention. Still dismissive, still sharp, but no longer bored. He started preparing for me, not around me, and that scared him more than he'd ever admit. Outside the courtroom, life didn't magically get easier. Bills still came. Doubts still showed up at 3 a.m. Friends would ask, "How's it going?" and I'd say, "Fine," even when it wasn't. Especially when it wasn't. But something was different. I was standing my ground in places I used to apologize for existing. I was learning that confidence isn't loud, it's consistent. The real twist came when evidence surfaced that no one expected. Something small at first, almost easy to overlook. I remember staring at the document, heart pounding, thinking, "Are you kidding me? This changes everything." I brought it to court the next day, and for the first time he looked genuinely unsettled. He interrupted me, mid-sentence, voice sharper than before. "That's irrelevant." I met his eyes and said, "It's actually the core of your argument. You just didn't realize it yet." The room went silent again. This time it felt different. From there it was like watching a wall crack. Witnesses contradicted themselves. Timelines didn't line up. His confidence started to feel forced, like a performance he was struggling to maintain. And then came the moment I'll never forget. He stood up, raised his voice, and tried to steamroll me the way he probably always had. The judge stopped him, told him to sit down, addressed me directly. "Please continue." I swear I could have floated out of my chair. That was the night I finally let myself believe I could win. Not because I wanted revenge, not because I wanted to prove anyone wrong, but because the truth deserved it. And yeah, maybe because the girl I used to be the one who got laughed at and overlooked deserved it too. The final day felt unreal. The air was thick, like everyone knew something big was about to happen. He avoided my eyes. I laid everything out slowly, deliberately connecting dots no one had bothered to connect before. When I finished, there was this pause, long enough to make your stomach drop. Then the decision came down. In my favor. Clear, undeniable. I didn't cry right away. I just sat there, hands shaking, breathing through it. He packed up his things without looking at me. Walked past like I wasn't there. And for the first time that didn't hurt. It didn't matter, because I knew who I was now. Afterward, people congratulated me, said things like, "We always knew you had it in you." I smiled, thanked them, but inside I thought, no, you didn't. And that's okay. I didn't need them to know. I needed me to know. Winning didn't fix everything. It didn't erase the years of doubt or the nights I wondered if I was chasing something impossible. But it changed how I see myself. It taught me that being underestimated isn't a weakness. It's a strategy the world uses to stay comfortable. And when you push back even quietly, it doesn't know what to do with you. So here's where I want to leave this. Think about the last time someone made you feel small. Really, think about it. Did you accept it? Did you laugh it off? Or did you store it away? Let it shape you. There's no single right answer, but I want to know what you would have done in my place. Would you have kept your head down or stepped into a room that didn't think you belonged? Tell me in the comments. Argue with each other. Share your stories. Because these moments, the quiet ones, the uncomfortable ones, they're where everything actually changes. And if you've ever been underestimated, trust me, you're not alone.